Hi, everyone. Welcome to Careers in Trades with our special guest, Dr. Jon Callegher. My name is Nat Giancarelli, and I am from the York Catholic District School Board.
And I am Linda Alati from the York Region District School Board.
And we are really privileged tonight to be here with Dr. Jon Callegher of George Brown College. And Dr. Callegher will be presenting later in just a few minutes on 5 reasons for why you should choose a career in the trades. So welcome, Dr. Jon Callegher.
Thank you so much, Nat and Linda, and thanks to everybody who's watching today.
All right, so we're gonna kick it off as we do all things in York Catholic and York Region District School Boards with a land acknowledgement, and we are going to share tonight with you the YCDSB land acknowledgement. We are gathered on the ancestral lands and waters of all Indigenous peoples who have left their footprints on Mother Earth before us. We respectfully acknowledge those who have walked on it, those who walk on it now, and future generations who have yet to walk upon it. We pray to the Creator for strength and wisdom that all may continue to serve as stewards of the earth. We'd also like to share with you the YCDSB equity statement, just to remind everyone that we are, trying to be inclusive in all that we do and providing opportunities for everyone. The York Catholic District School Board is committed to creating and maintaining an equitable learning environment reflected through inclusive programs, curricula, and practices with a mission to ensure every child has an equal chance for success. So just a quick overview of what we hope to accomplish tonight. We are going to, Linda and I, talk about the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program and how it pertains to your opportunities in high school. Then Jon Callegher will give us his presentation on 5 great reasons for a career in the trades, which is going to highlight reasons why you should choose a career in the trades and why it is a first choice pathway. At 7:30 or around there, we're going to be joined with 2 youth apprentices. So a current YCDSB student who is participating in level 1 accelerated OEP, and we'll explain what that is. And then a second student who is a graduate who is working in auto service technician trade right now. That's going to be followed with a question and answer period. And we have created a Google form. The Google form was sent out via email to everyone, but I will go into YouTube later and put a link to the form as well. So you can click on it and you can ask questions using that format, and we're going to relay them back during the presentation. So Jon will present, the panel will have their discussion, and then we'll accept questions for either Jon or for the panelists. Okay. So as we stated, just a quick kind of overview of the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. So the nice thing about this program is it takes the apprenticeship pathway and it brings it into the classroom. So students can start working towards becoming a registered apprentice while they're still in high school. If this is something that sounds interesting to you, so working in the trades, learning while you're in high school, starting that pathway, I would encourage you to speak to your guidance counselor, speak to your co-op teachers, and find out how it works in your specific school if you want to be an Ontario Youth Apprentice. With regards to being a bit more specific with that, for students who are in grade 9 and 10 and plan to do a co-op in the future, the easiest way is to make sure you select co-op in your course selection process. That'll give you the first chance at being in a co-op placement. Once you're successfully in co-op, so whether it's next year or beyond, you are going to request a placement in a skilled trade. And by doing that, you have the opportunity to sign a registered training agreement with the Ministry of Labor, Training and Skills Development. So what that means is within high school, you can participate in a trade through co-op and learn a little bit about the job and get some experience. But you can also take it one step further and you can create a training agreement through the Ministry of Labor and sign as a registered apprentice. In order to do that, you have to be ready for it, first and foremost. and we have to have an employer that's willing to sign you. And we have lots of eager employers looking for talent and skills that you possess. So that is potentially something that you could do in high school, is not only participate in a trade, but get registered and start earning hours towards your career. Linda's now going to talk about an additional option within OEAP, which is our accelerated program.
Yes, and it's a wonderful program. And shortly after I'm done talking, I'm going to show you a wonderful video we've created that gives you a nice visual of what we're talking about in the different programs. A great opportunity for our students once they are in grade 12 is to apply to the accelerated OEAP program. Basically, these students who apply and are accepted into the program would leave high school, so not only their Ontario Secondary School diploma, but a level one training completed in a particular trade, whether it be electrician, plumber, auto service technician, up to about 10 to 13, depending on the school board. So students in that program, it would be great if they had a grade 11 experience in a particular trade that they're interested in, so that when they do interview with the training delivery agent, which is usually one of our colleges, or it could be through the union, like Local 127 Carpenters Union, these students would then have some insight into the trade, some background knowledge and experience, and hopefully be a part of this. It is a competitive program. So the accelerated OEAP program is available to students in their last semester of high school. They do have to sign up for it in first semester. So this coming September, October, our schools will be promoting the program. Students who are interested would begin the application process and then be invited to an interview for one of the trades that are available to accelerate in. So leaving high school, not only with a diploma, but with a completed, for most of them, level 1 certification, ready to work with an employer. The accelerated OEAP program takes place second semester, as I mentioned. But like I also mentioned, it is important that students, or recommended that students take a co-op in grade 11, although not necessary. Sometimes the experience that they garner through working with parents or neighbors or as a friend of the family also provides them with the skills and interest and understanding of the trade to help them through the application process. So right now, I just want to share with you a video that was created to give you a little bit of insight of the different programs that are available in accelerated OEAP. And it should just be a few minutes. And I think, Nat, you're going to cue it up.
Did you know that there are over 130 different skilled trades in Ontario, and you can experience at least one of them while you're still in high school? I'm in grade 11.
And I'm in grade 12.
And we're both part of the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, or OYAP.
OYAP is an amazing program and really different from regular school. I enjoy creating and designing, using tools and technology, and solving problems.
If you're like me and you like to learn by doing, then this program might be for you. Doing something new every day is exciting. This is my classroom. I get to use some really cool tools and new technologies that can build my skills while I'm still in high school.
And this is my classroom. I get to learn from experts in the field and work with a Red Seal professional chef.
Getting started with OYAP was simple. In grade 10, we learned about different post-secondary options. During course selection, I decided to take co-op in grade 11 to get some work experience, develop my skills, and figure out what I wanted to do with my career. With the support I got from my teachers, I had an amazing auto surface placement, and I knew this was for me. I plan on applying to the Accelerated OEAP program for grade 12.
York Region District School Board has 11 accelerated OEAP programs. When I decided to apply, I spoke with my co-op teacher and guidance counselor. When I graduate this year, I'll have completed my level 1 training for cook, and I can begin my career as a registered apprentice. It's the same for a lot of other students in other apprenticeship programs like
plumbing,
electrician,
baker, child development practitioner,
carpentry,
refrigeration and air conditioning systems mechanic.
I went to the Accelerated OYAP open house session last fall with my parents and learned more about this great opportunity and how to apply. The benefits are amazing: free tuition, textbooks, tools, and transportation. This is my college classroom. For part of the semester, I'm here with other Accelerated OYAP students from across the GTA who have the same interest in becoming a chef.
The OYAP program is an awesome way for me to try out a new skilled trade, get some real work experience, and figure out my future. There are so many great jobs in the trade just waiting for me.
The Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. Experience it.
And one final thing I wanted to mention is, and it was mentioned in the video, if you want more information about this and you want to see firsthand what the campus where you would be learning is like, is we every October we hold a open house at all the different locations where the training would take place. Unfortunately, over the past 2 years, we've had to do those virtually, and we've done our best with them, but we're hoping for next October that they will be in person again. Nothing's confirmed yet, but we're very hopeful. So those of you who are out there and interested in a grade 12 program, even if you're in grade 10, you're still welcome to come to learn about it and to see how you can best prepare for that experience.
Perfect. And what I love about that video, beside the video itself, is we follow the same timelines in Your Catholic. So all the information that you saw there is applicable with both programs. And so you can reach out to your co-op guidance counselors, reach out to Linda and myself if you have questions, and we can support you. Now I'm going to remove us from the show, and it's Dr. Callegher's show. I will add your presentation to the stream. Is that cool? All right.
Thank you so much, Nat and Linda, and my compliments, my very high compliments to the producers and the everyone who was involved in that outstanding video. Hi, everybody. My name is, as was mentioned, Dr. Jonathan Daniel Callegher. You can just call me John. If you have any questions, go for it in that link to the Google form where you can submit some questions for me. And as was mentioned a little later, our guest young skilled trades apprentices from your area. I'm really excited to get acquainted with them when I'm finished. But ahead of that, I'm going to share with you 5 great reasons for a career in this trades. And by that, I mean the skilled trades, of course. I am someone who I graduated high school in the year 2000. Okay. And for me, almost everyone went to university. This was what was expected after high school. And it is a different time today, thankfully. The conversation about what you do after high school isn't just go to university. It could be going into a skilled trade. It could be going to college. It could be going to university and going back to college. The pathways there's so many, but there's also this wonderful, almost shortcut to success in the skilled trades that I think will come as a surprise to many of you, in addition to the many other reasons that I'm going to share with you about how happy young people are who are in skilled trades careers. And I'll provide you with evidence to support that, because I'm a researcher. I have a career of going to school and not getting a job after having that degree in sociology. In my case, there's no job in sociology explicitly. Same with a master's degree in sociology. And then later I did a PhD and started looking into employment and got really fascinated and finally discovered my passion there. So I started looking at people in all kinds of careers. And that actually starts with a question that maybe you've asked yourself, parents. Maybe you've had this conversation with the child. Everybody wants a good job. Well, what does that mean? What makes a good job? What does that mean? Now, if you were to kind of reflect upon that question, I'll just give you a moment to sort of think about your answer to that question. What makes a good job? There's a good chance that you're going to see some version of your answer reflected in how 500 parents, as you see on your screen, 500 parents across Ontario in a study I just completed, their answer to the question, what makes a good job? This is how 500 Ontario parents, the larger the word or phrase, the more popular it is. So you see it right there. A good job is one that frankly pays well and is fulfilling. That's a good job. But a few other important things as well. A good culture, benefits, flexibility, where you make a difference, you have advancement opportunities, security, low stress, and that coveted work-life balance, which I'll talk a little bit about shortly. But I also went deeper. I did a study of Canadians in all kinds of jobs across the country, and I had them complete a very long survey. I asked them to think about their job and then to look at 50 statements about their job and tell me if that statement is true for them, partly true, or not true for them at all. I'm going to show you some examples. If you're a parent watching today, please play along. If you're a young person and you have a part-time job, you can play along too. So here are some examples of statements that I showed Canadians in all kinds of jobs. I like having the freedom to make my own decisions at work. True for me, partly true, not true for me at all. I think my job is cool. My work brings me peace of mind. Doing my job makes me truly happy. A few more examples. Most days, I find my work interesting. I feel a special bond with other people in my field. I like that I can be myself at work. Hard work, it actually pays off in my field. We also asked about negatives. For example, my job is much too stressful. Maybe you know someone who said this, everybody. If it wasn't for the money, I would quit my job tomorrow. Okay, when you show these statements and 40 more to Canadians in all kinds of jobs, everyone, we start to see patterns. And in research, we just organize those patterns into ones that are most common, and we group them into, in this case, worker satisfaction groups. You can see we have 5. In the top right, we have square pegs at 11%. Bottom rungers at 26%, musketeers at 15%, the comfortable at 21%, and fulfilled at 27%. What I'd like to do now, I'm just going to walk you through briefly each slice of the pie, just so you get a sense of how each group is different from each other. But let me say right from the start, there are always exceptions. Of course there are. But there are also these important distinctions between these groups, everybody, I think we should put on the table and discuss. So let's start off with what could be said is the least happy group here. Unfortunately, a group called square pegs, more likely to basically say, hey, this is just a job. They're only working for the money. Their education is not aligned with their work. They don't have a sense of contributing to society, don't get a lot of meaning, therefore, from their jobs, altogether unmotivated, unhappy. It's not good news, but it is a reality for about 11% of the Canadian workforce, square pegs. Next, we have a group where many young people find themselves, that we call them bottom rungers. They are starting at the bottom rung of the ladder across all kinds of careers and working their way up, of course. Future leaders, definitely outgoing and engaged for sure. But in particular, there is a group within the bottom rungers who are more impatient and frustrated. And we've learned that those are more common among young people in office jobs, desk jobs. You might wonder, why is that? Well, in part, it's because they're craving a clear career path. They want mentorship. But who gives the mentorship in the workplace? It's the older workers. Well, what are more older workers dealing with now in office type jobs? I think some of you know. Maybe some parents have experienced it. They're dealing with the threat of their job being done by somebody else in another country for less money in different time zones, or the threat of their job being done by a piece of software technology. When you are concerned with your own job security, maybe you don't pay enough attention to mentoring the next generation. Perfectly understandable. But of course, it comes with some frustration among those workers who are younger and want that mentorship. So we had square pegs, bottom rungers. Do you know someone who works in the healthcare industry? Maybe someone who's watching today does, or in law enforcement, or works out with people in the community. They would be examples of those who are musketeers, all for one for all, whose jobs involve in large part pleasing others, serving others, helping other people, putting other people first. But what does that mean? It does mean that you're putting yourself second. And therefore, this group is more likely to say that they have a lot of stress in their jobs. But they are also more likely to say, and this is special, that they have a bond, a solidarity with their colleagues. They feel like their coworkers are like family members. And when you feel that close to your coworkers, as it turns out, you look forward to going into work. You'll push through even though it is a high stress environment. All right, so square pegs, bottom rungers, musketeers. And here, everybody, is the group that surprised so many people, a group we call the comfortable, a group of people who are more likely to say that they have work-life balance. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, when you're done work, you leave work at work. And you come home and you have time to devote more wholly to your friends, family, personal entertainment, leisure, and more. And you are not sitting at the kitchen table and being summoned back to work by a boss or a coworker or a client via an internet-connected device in the evening, on the weekend, maybe on vacation, as some of you might be able to relate. That's not work-life balance. It's something else. Well, those who have the work-life balance happen to be many in the skilled trades, where they can, by the nature of their jobs, pick up where they left off. And I'll give you many examples of skilled trades careers shortly. But one thing I do want to mention is that they are also settling down early. What does that mean? It means among those young people in skilled trades, they are buying homes, buying condos, buying vehicles, starting families, going on long vacations earlier in life. Why? I think some of you know, because they can, or rather because they can afford to. Many young people in skilled trades, these careers don't require one to go to university to earn their specialization, and therefore they don't have to trade $30,000 to $40,000 in tuition. In fact, as I'll talk about a little later, the cost of skilled trade school is very, very low. In fact, through a registered apprenticeship, you also earn money. You start earning a living in your late teens, early 20s, and you're able to start your life. Very happy group here. I'll talk, of course, much more soon, but just the other very happy group, a group called Fulfilled, a group of workers that have work-life integration. Their home life, their work life, they overlap, but they like it. They don't do it reluctantly. They get value from their work, in large part because they have control over when they do tasks outside of the office. So educators who do their lesson planning and grading at home and on weekends, people who are managing companies, managing teams, people who are leading businesses, they thrive on having this sort of work-life integration, because control is a real important part of that. Control is so important to feeling fulfilled that we also see skilled tradespeople in the fulfilled group too, everybody, because skilled tradespeople have direct control over their tasks, whether they're installing, maintaining, repairing, and more. They see the results of their work more immediately, which leads to feelings of fulfillment. So anyone who's just jumping in here, a quick summary as a result of how thousands of Canadians responded to 50 statements about their job. We basically have a group of workers, the square pegs. Unfortunately, they're kind of miserable. Let's call it what it is. Bottom rungers who are frustrated, but they're hopeful about the future, which is good. Musketeers, more likely to be stressed out for sure, but also more likely to feel a bond with their coworkers. And then everybody, maybe the little happier groups here, the comfortable and the fulfilled, where we happen to see more representation of skilled tradespeople, people in education and leadership and management positions. You go like this. You draw sort of an invisible line down the middle of that pie chart, everybody. You're going to see some good news. What's the good news? Hey, almost half of Canadians are happy in their jobs. Great news. Until, of course, we look at the other side of that statement, right? What's the other side of that statement? If almost half of Canadians are happy in their jobs, then, well, I mean, that means the bad news is more than half are not. And we have a saying in research, that's the data don't lie. If this is what presented itself, we should accept this reality, but let's also accept the other reality that presented itself, everybody. And that was quite surprising to a lot of people, which is that skilled tradespeople are among the happiest workers in the country. And this was very surprising to many people. Why? Because many people in Canada don't know what a skilled trade is. And maybe there are some parents who even before watching today were quite unfamiliar. And that's okay. It's really important that you're here today. 30 to 40% of Canadians, when you ask them, what's a skilled trade? You know what they say? They say, I don't know. I have no idea. Or they'll guess something wrong. A surgeon, someone who performs surgery, is that a skilled trades person? I'm not sure. Among those who know what a skilled trade is, the most popular answers are a plumber, a carpenter, an electrician, and fourth place is a welder. But did you know, as you saw in the video there are more than 130, 140 skilled trades, and there are 4 main categories, and I want to walk you through those categories. First are motive power skilled trades. For example, auto body and collision damage repairs, automotive service technicians. You're going to hear from one today. Also, truck and coach technicians, agricultural equipment technicians. I want everyone to know, whether you're a parent, student, educator, I've produced more than 100 interviews on camera with young people in skilled trades, and I'm going to give you access to those interviews when I'm finished. Anytime you see a job title and a picture of someone, that means I produced an interview with them. Take a picture of the screen, write it down, and I'll let you know where you can find those interviews later on. Motive power skilled trades, and dozen or so more in this important area of the skilled trades, and services skilled trades. Did you know that a chef is a skilled trade? A sous and pastry chef, those are skilled trades, as are hairstylists and horticultural technicians, and many more in the services skilled trades. There are also industrial skilled trades, a massive area of opportunity where you have tool and die makers, hydraulic pneumatic mechanics, electricians, industrial electricians, welders. Both of these individuals here that you see, Lindsay and Michael at the top where it says Jobtalks OYAP, they're examples of young people who completed the OYAP program at their high school and then moved on to become registered apprentices right out of school and are earning a living while they're completing their formal training. Construction, everyone. We like to think of a construction worker as a job description. That is a very broad category. General carpenters, trim carpenters are in the construction skilled trades. And here is Andrea, someone who also discovered first the specialist high skills major program at her school, then moved into the OYAP program at her school and continued outside of graduation into her apprenticeship, and is again very successful at a very young age as she's earning money while she's being trained and completing her training. Tile setters, insulation installers, construction workers. I'll just spend a moment because we all live in the same kind of area, right? And anywhere you walk or drive or ride your bike, you see a city that's growing, and that is because of construction workers who are able to make that happen, including other specializations like HVAC technicians and refrigeration and air conditioning mechanics. You'll hear from one today. Plumbers, and building rat foremen and stonemasons and iron workers and bulldozer operators and mobile crane operators and tower crane operators. Parents, please take a look at their faces. Just take 5 seconds. Look at their faces. Notice how young most of them are. And I can tell you, in the skilled trades, construction skilled trades in particular, many of them will be earning more than $100,000 of a year in their mid to late 20s, more than that if they want to later on. But also, some of them are also business owners. They recognize a demand for what they need, what they're able to do. There's a need for what they are able to do. So they hired other people to help meet that demand. That means they are young leaders too, in addition to entrepreneurs and skilled tradespeople. I'll also say to you, parents, many of them on this screen and the ones you saw, their parents were a little unsure, maybe even not that supportive of their child's choice to enter the skilled trades because they didn't know a lot about it, or they brought biases to their understanding of the skilled trades. Well, I can tell you that is behind them today, and their parents are really proud of their children. Project coordinators, project managers, site supervisors, health and safety managers. I call these more skilled trades adjacent careers, where you have the opportunity to work with other people in the office and out with skilled trades people in the real world. So as I get now into those 5 great reasons for a career in the skilled trades, let me tell you briefly what we know about younger workers. Younger workers today, they are certainly ambitious, hopeful. They want to make a difference. They're good people. All true. All true. The good things are true. What's also true, unfortunately, though, is that young people today are more likely to say that they are also feeling lost, feeling stressed, feeling worried, tired, and having to deal with financial debt. Now, I want to talk with you about some of the causes behind these negative experiences among younger workers today. But what I'm also going to share with you is what I've learned, which is that among young people in skilled trades, parents, they are less likely to report feeling or dealing with these negative experiences. And of course, I will explain why. Let's start off with, unfortunately, feeling lost. Maybe there's someone here who's asked themselves this question: what am I good at? Right? What could I be good at? How can I make a difference in the world? How might I contribute to society? What's really refreshing about talking with young people in skilled trades is that they don't hesitate to answer this question. What am I good at? Why? Because they specialize. They made a decision, many as early as high school, and you're going to hear from some examples of those students later on, to get really good at something that other people weren't good at. And I call that decision a decision to pursue excellence. And that's something to be proud of. And I also say that decision to pursue excellence is an example of what I will call balanced intelligence. We tend to celebrate, I think many of you would agree, academic intelligence. Now, let me just tell you what intelligence means, okay? Intelligence is simply the ability to see patterns and make predictions. Anyone who takes an IQ test will confirm that it's just pattern recognition. What comes next in the sequence? And we celebrate those a little more who see more patterns in words, history, numbers. We say, yeah, they're the smart ones. They're the intelligent ones, the academic types. I think we fail to recognize that there are a whole large group of people who lean more toward another type of intelligence, which I call balanced intelligence, who see those patterns more in the real world, who see patterns, think about it, in how to take water from really far away and somehow bring it into an entire community and to individual homes and schools and hospitals and buildings and more, who see patterns in how the electrical grid works, and without which we wouldn't have our civilization, who see patterns in how to layer hair or how to take different ingredients and somehow fuse them together to something that's nutritious and delicious, who see patterns in how roads and bridges are built and maintained. Think about that, without which we wouldn't be able to see people face to face or have things brought to us. Our civilization that we know right now would not exist, and it needs to be continuously built and maintained. Those who see those kinds of patterns, who prefer more maybe hands-on learning, touching and tinkering rather than theorizing and memorizing, and who really see value in solving problems for groups and individuals out in the real world. Balance intelligence, everyone. Let's celebrate it just as much as academic intelligence. Mentoring is something that young people also get. I mentioned to you that they're craving it. Well, in the skilled trades, if you're a parent and you want your child to have a mentor in their early adulthood, know that they are more likely to get it in a skilled trades career. It is built in. Daniel here on the screen will take what he's learned. He'll pass it down to Julia. Julia will become a mentor to the next generation. It's also why we see skilled tradespeople in the same group as educators too, because skilled tradespeople also teach. Some of them go from being in the skilled trades to working in the educational sector, which is really exciting and a great reason for a career in the skilled trades. Uh-oh, no one wants to be this individual here. Who wants to be this person with their hands in their pockets and they are empty pockets? Well, depending on where you are in your educational journey, depending on far ahead you're looking, the cost of tuition is on the table. It's in your consideration set, and depending on where you are in your your life stage, this is something that could be of important concern. Well, I'm going to drive this point home with an article from a reliable source here. This is Bloomberg Financial, a reliable source. As you can see there, it says student debt contributing to a record number of Ontario insolvencies. Insolvency means that you are unable to pay your bills on time. And you can see underneath it says the average tuition debt in Ontario at graduation from college is $16,500. And the average tuition debt at university is $30,000. Now, more than 50% of Ontario post-secondary graduates will have significant tuition debt. And that is something that, as I think you can appreciate, will and is having an impact on them starting their lives stress-free and related to not being debt-free. But let me also share with you something that just was released, and you're among the first people to see this. This is from my recent study of 500 Ontario parents and what they think about tuition. Follow along. Post-secondary tuition costs are too high. 92% of Ontario parents agree. Personally, I don't know what the other 8% were thinking, but 92% agree. This is a serious concern for me and my child, 74%. But look at that last statement. The tuition costs are worth it. In the end, only 56% of Ontario parents agree with that statement, that the tuition costs are worth it in the end, which is fascinating. We call this a cognitive dissonance, when you have two competing thoughts in your head, where you have many parents encouraging their child to go to college or especially university, while at the same time harboring thoughts that it might not even be worth it. Fascinating. I think the case would be different, everyone, if more parents were aware of the fact that in the skilled trades people get paid while they're learning, and that the cost of a skilled trades education, skilled trade school, is only $400 a year. $400 a year is the cost of skilled trade school. And bonus, while the young person is being trained as an apprentice, they are earning money at the same time. So I hear things like this. I started earning when I was just 17 years old. You get weekly travel allowances. Weekly, the government of Ontario will pay for any travel-related expenses. Cash, money after completing certain levels. So cash after completing level 1, $1,000. Another $1,000 after completing level 2. Cash for graduating. Imagine that. Crossing the stage. Anyone who remembers graduating and then getting a check Or did you have to cut a check, right? Well, in the skilled trades, the government of Ontario really wants to incentivize young people to complete their apprenticeships. So they give you money for graduating, completing the apprenticeship. You can support a family on it. I hear this all the time. Go ahead and watch this video of the brick and stone mason apprentice. Her name is Celeste. When I interviewed her in her early 20s, she arrived for her interview in a BMW. Okay, I had to pick my jaw up from off the floor because I caught myself judging a book by its cover. Don't make the mistake that young people who are in the skilled trades aren't earning well. They are. Tired, everybody. Tired is something that we are feeling a little more today across all age groups. Why are people feeling tired? Well, the plain answer is they're sitting all the time. In fact, there are many people in types of jobs where they sit for multiple hours in the morning, eat their sandwich at their desk, continue to sit some more in the afternoon, sit at home for dinner, sit on the couch to relax, go to bed, wake up, repeat the same sitting in the commute, the same cubicle, same screen, same laptop on Tuesday, on Wednesday, same sitting on Thursday, same cubicle, same screen on Friday. And what am I hearing now? And this is where I might get a little divisive with some parents. I'm hearing this a lot now. I just want to work from home. I just want to wake up, slide a comb through my hair, go to the next room, keep my pajama pants on, and just sit all day. For anyone who has a job, parents, please hear me, where they are sitting all the time, they must have a treadmill in their home that they use for more than just hanging laundry, right? Or a gym membership that's being used, or a running clinic that they participate in for the sake of their physical health and mental health as a result. You can Google something for me, or on your own rather. Google it later. Google sitting is the new smoking. I'll say it again. Sitting is the new smoking. You will find yourself brought to hundreds of scientific articles making the very real connection between prolonged sitting and increased risk of type 2 diabetes, stroke, and other cardiovascular diseases. How can it go any other way? You don't need to be a scientist to appreciate the fact that the more you sit, the more your blood stays, isn't pumping fast, right? You're going to have physical health problems as a result, and you must build practices in place to address that as we have more and more careers where people are sitting and working from home. I hope you know where I'm going with this. There's a reason I'm spending a little more time on this. I really want to punch this next point. Skilled tradespeople, they stay active in their job. They don't have to worry about building in the treadmill time, everybody, whether it's fixing vehicles here, like an auto body and collision damage repair, or driving big vehicles like a bulldozer operator. They're up, they're moving, they have activity, they're inside, they're outside. Whether they're creating art like a tile setter or using special tools like a hydraulic mechanic, they have variety, they have change. Whether they're fixing things like an electrician or installing things like an HVAC technician, or being at heights like a tower crane operator, or digging the earth like a foundation drill rig operator. Whether they're preparing good food like a pastry chef, or helping grow food like an agricultural equipment technician, or drafting designs like a draftsperson, or making people smile multiple times a day, multiple times an hour like a hairstylist. Whether they're working inside homes like a trim carpenter, or outside homes like a general carpenter, they have variety, they have movement, they have action, they have change. And they're not going to the same desk, same screen, same laptop every single day. A great reason to keep the skilled trades on the table. I use my body and mind. My days are never boring. There's so much variety. You get to see the product of your work right away. Their words from their mouth to your ears, parents. Please, a great reason to keep the trades on the table. Worry is also up, everybody. Worry is up among all many young people today. COVID-19 2 years ago happened. Do you know how many Ontarians lost their jobs in the first 3 months of COVID-19? 1.1 million Ontarians lost their jobs in the first 3 months of COVID-19. It was a disaster. Well, when you are a young person and you kind of realize that, some jobs are secure and some jobs are not, let's also consider how people might be feeling in terms of their job security. So remember I showed you a statement earlier? Well, here is a set of statements, examples of statements. I showed Canadians in all kinds of jobs. Here are some examples, and here are how tradespeople responded, true for me, compared to how Canadians in other types of jobs, how they responded, true for me. Most days, I feel I've put in an honest day's work. Almost 3/4 of skilled tradespeople say, yeah, that's true for me, compared to just 2/3 of Canadians in other jobs. My work gives me a sense of success and achievement. More than 2/3 of skilled tradespeople say true for me, compared to less than half of Canadians in other jobs. I often have fun at work, 60% to 43%, but look at the bottom, everybody. Nowadays, I often feel worried. Just 17% of skilled tradespeople compared to 42% of Canadians in other types of jobs. Why are workers in skilled trades 3 times less likely to be worried or anxious about the future when it comes to their work? Some of you are probably getting the picture. You know it. Skilled tradespeople have skills security. What does that mean? It means water is water and wood is wood. And an engine is an engine, and a tool is a tool, and a ball bearing is a ball bearing, and hair is hair, and ingredients are ingredients. I could go on. You can work with these materials across different provinces, different countries, even among different languages, be able to pivot more easily than somebody else with no specialization, or someone else, frankly, when the chips are down, that their specialization isn't that useful to society. Now, in the COVID-19 pandemic, we all know healthcare workers were considered essential. Absolutely. But did you also know that most skilled tradespeople were considered essential too? I help make Canada's businesses and institutions modern and safe. I contribute to the wellness of my community. When you are able to make those claims, society pays you really well for it and gives you security in your job as well. The skills you develop are highly transferable. A trade is portable. How's that for freedom with one's skill? But lastly, everybody's stress levels are up. Stress levels are up among all age groups, actually. And there is one thing that all of you probably have pretty close to you right now that is the culprit, that is correlated with an increase in stress, and that is the use of our devices. What we have done is welcome into our lives through our devices a steady stream of disruptions, interruptions, distractions when we're trying to focus on reading something, talk to someone, watch something, complete homework, complete a task, concentrate, and it is wreaking havoc on our stress levels. And parents, I hope you'll hear me. It's only going to get worse. How could it not? 5G internet connectivity is here. Artificial intelligence is here. Machine learning is becoming more sophisticated. These devices and their notifications will be more personalized, more frequent, more addictive. How can it go any other way? In a best case scenario, everyone, all of us, would have some kind of break from our devices for the sake of our mental health. But as I think you know, depending on the type of career one goes into, that is not an option. They need to be on their device both at work and available after work as well. Well, for anyone who's interested in having a break from their devices, skilled tradespeople happen to be more likely to say that they have work-life balance. Maybe there's a young person here or a parent who wants their child to say something like, hey, I'm usually home by 5. I can manage my time for my convenience. And importantly, I'm not on my phone all day, whether it is in motive power or services or industrial or construction. These workers, these experts, these specialists, they have their hands occupied and their minds occupied in their careers when they are on the job. And as a result, they can't be bothered with notifications. But you know what some of them do? Many of them, when they come home, They bring on the social media, the entertainment, and more, but at least they have, and I'm going to say this, the luxury, I'm going to say it again, the luxury of having a break from their devices, which is only good for their mental health. As a result, I don't think anyone can argue with that. And it's a great reason for a career in the skilled trades. So if the skilled trades are so great, everybody, why is there a shortage? I'm going to take 5 minutes and wrap us up. And I'm going to introduce you to two very impressive young skilled trades people named Matt and Sarah. But just before that, why is there a shortage? Did you know of tens of thousands of skilled trades people in Ontario, hundreds of thousands across the country? Well, first, I think there's a narrow perception. Most people, when they do have a kind of an idea of a skilled trade person, they think of a man, maybe an older man in a pit of dirt, dust, metal, machines. Maybe they just think, pass, I'm not interested. I don't care to learn much more than that. But I hope as a result of today, you've recognized that the skilled trades are not narrow. In fact, they are very, very broad, and that there are young women in the skilled trades like Anna here and Andrea, and also these two gentlemen, Michael, and they're both named Michael actually, who are young people in a broad areas of the skilled trades. There is so much opportunity. The skilled trades are not narrow. The opportunities are endless, and the path to advancement is really, really quick. So, everyone, parents are also a very important driver of a child's decision, and it's really wonderful that so many parents are here to get this kind of information. Parents, I can tell you, their number one emotion toward their child is to protect. They want to protect their kids. And when you want to protect someone, what do? Well, you give them the best information that you have. And for many parents, it just happens to be a good job means going to university. Of course, you can be a parent in the skilled trade, and you might know that you don't have to go to university to have a great job. But for many parents, they still happen to think this is true. But I want many parents to really, really appreciate this. When you see a skilled trades person, please do not jump to the conclusion that they were not good enough to go to university. That's absolutely not true. Some skilled trades people are among what I would consider to be the smartest people I know. They just didn't want to go to university. And that's fine. Maybe they didn't want to trade $30,000 to $40,000 for a degree that might get them a job. Maybe they didn't want to engage in theory-based learning for 40 more courses over 4 years. That just wasn't their style. Maybe they just didn't want to go. That's fine. Maybe they didn't need to go to university to have a career that brought them work-life balance, a great salary, great benefits, a pension, depending on how you're affiliated, that actually allowed them to have stay active, to be indoors and outdoors, to have variety, and that made them happy. Keep that in mind. Let me also show you this last piece of research. Just before that, though, here again, a good job. Remember those things that you reflected on at the beginning. What makes a good job? Well, I really hope that you'll reflect and look at this, what we call a word cloud here, and recognize that among other careers that are available, so too do careers in the skilled trades meet these qualities of a good job. But I'll show you here this other really fascinating piece of data or set of data here. What parents really want for their kids when it comes to a job. You can see I would like for my child to be happy with their job, 87%. This is those who selected very important versus just somewhat important. Very important. I just want my child to be happy. I want them to have work-life balance, 81%. Have good health benefits, 78%. Stay active and healthy, 73%. And have a job that is secure, another 73%. These are what parents feel are really important. And I hope you, as an example of many examples that you saw today, reveal to you that these real benefits of a good job can be recognized in skilled trades careers. And finally, I want to work smarter, not harder. Oh, this mantra. Maybe you've given someone this advice. Work smarter, not harder. I think that this is meant to mean work more efficiently, and I can appreciate that. But we should also appreciate that the more we say this, work smarter, not harder, the more we devalue hard work and how quickly we can forget that our heroes, think about someone you admire, think about your hero. There's a very good chance that that individual, whether they are a professional athlete, an Olympian, a musician, a business person, even a content creator, okay? They did not work smarter, not harder. I think you know what they did. They worked smarter and harder. And for those young people who are pursuing a career in the skilled trades, they know that's where excellence lies, and they are reaping the benefits of the shortage, frankly, in the skilled trades, advancing quickly, starting their own businesses, growing in their careers, becoming young leaders, and as I mentioned, making their parents really proud along the way. So what are 5 great reasons for a career in the trades, everyone? Well, specialize in something, get paid while learning how to specialize, stay active at work, have skill security, and have work-life balance. I think my image has been removed from the screen, but we're just going to go to tech is a great way to get a chance there. If you want to take a tech class, everyone, dip your toe in, try out a different kind of class. Also experience, in many cases, putting your phone away as soon as you enter that tech room, right? And have a break from your device. Dual credit, where you can explore, where you can earn college credit while earning a skilled trades education, and the specialist high skilled majors program, where you can participate in a suite of courses, including in the skilled trades, depending on the school that you go to. And of course, the star of the show here, the OYAP program, the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, where you can test drive a skilled trade during co-op, more than 130 different careers. You don't like something, try something else. That's what high school is for. So everyone, jobtalksoyap.com, if you can read that. Jobtalksoyap.com is where you can watch those interviews with young people in skilled trades who completed an OYAP program at a school in Ontario. And also youtube.com/jobtalks. That's where you can watch interviews with the more than 100 other young skilled trades people that we've produced. I'm really, really happy that you're spending time with us. The evening is not over yet. We are now going to bring up Matt and Sarah, and I will introduce them as they appear on the screen. And thank you, Nat, for your production behind the scenes there with the slides.
Yeah, I guess I'll remove your slide deck here.
Yeah.
And we've got Mark and Sarah on screen.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, Mark and Sarah. I just want to introduce both of you. Mark, you are in grade 12 at St. Robert High School, and you're currently completing level 1 training.
Yes, sir.
With Humber College. So you're already in college.
George Brown, actually.
Oh, George Brown. Right on. And in refrigeration and air conditioning. I hope that part's right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
He has successfully completed multiple co-op programs and is looking to continue his current pathway after high school. And Sarah is a graduate of St. Brother Andre in Markham. She attended Seneca, I hope that's right, for veterinary tech after high school, but soon realized that maybe wasn't for her. Sarah drew on her interests when she took automotive courses in high school and has now parlayed that into a career as a first-year apprentice as an automotive service technician. So thank you both, Sarah and Matt, for being here. I want to start with you, since you're right next to me there, Mark. How did you get interested in air conditioning, refrigeration and air conditioning, and what's been a benefit for you?
Well, I've always liked working with my hands, and I noticed, especially in the field of like refrigeration and HVAC, you learn a little bit of every single trade, right? You got some electrical in it, you got some plumbing, you got HVAC, and I don't know, this is a little different than the average person, but I want to flip homes when I'm older, and that's going to give me knowledge upon like the trades and whatnot, so I'll understand the actual work that goes into flipping a home and all the trades work that needs to be done, and then I can even like hire people and understand the process when I understand the trade more. So that's what really got me into the trade. And now that I'm in it, I'm really enjoying it and I'm learning a lot.
That's great, Mark. I love the entrepreneurial goals that you brought to it. Many people don't realize how helpful skilled trades can be in that regard. And how about you, Sarah? How did you say a little bit more about going from veterinary tech and discovering automotive courses, and what's been a big benefit to you?
So growing up, I was surrounded by a lot of tradespeople, big trades family. My dad's a mechanic, so I was always in the garage helping him with all that kind of stuff. And it was something that I really enjoyed and kind of had a knack for. But I also really, really loved animals. And it was kind of like my thing growing up, you know. So yeah, I went through high school doing the construction course and the automotive course, which was super great. I really enjoyed it, really fun, but still, you know, I had my science courses that I did and kind of decided I'm going to try this out first just because I hadn't done it before. I hadn't really had that work experience with animals. So I thought that it would be a really great thing for me to try. I went through a year of college with that. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a great program. Very, very difficult though with the book work, which isn't necessarily my strong suit. I'm a lot better with the hands-on learning and stuff like that. So once COVID hit and school went completely online, I really struggled with that because when I was in school, we were in labs all the time. I got to interact with the animals, which I really enjoyed. So after that 1 year of college, I decided it wasn't worth it for me to continue with the program as it was online. After high school, I worked at the shop with my dad just for the summer, just to kind of make some money, experience the trade a little bit. I really, really enjoyed it. So they ended up hiring me back again, which I really liked. I was there for about 6 months, and then I decided maybe I need to try some other things. Tried to get other jobs in like the clinical aspect of veterinarians, but it's a very, very difficult job to get into, especially without the schooling. So I ended up for a third year in a row, went back to the shop, and I've been there ever since.
Terrific. Great story.
Thanks.
And I'll go back to Mark. To Mark. Going back to being a refrigeration air conditioning mechanic, in terms of what you've learned so far, what does it take to be really good at your job?
In my opinion, you just have to really be willing to learn, right? It's a completely new environment, right? Comparatively speaking to like in school, learning the books and whatnot, you're actually learning hands-on, and there's so much new information that you kind of have to pick up off your coworkers and everything. And if you show you're willing to learn, the people around you will be happy to teach you, right? That's what I found. And like I've already learned a lot about electrical, plumbing, and like even the procedures of installing a lot of these HVAC units.
Right on. And I hope that any young people who are watching there take that advice. Be willing to learn. How about you, Sarah? Willing to learn? Anything else to what it takes to be really good at automotive service tech?
I think dedication is a really, really big one. I mean, in the trades, you're going to face a lot of struggles. It's really, really demanding work. You're on your feet all day. You're lifting heavy things. It's very hard on your body. So you need to have that dedication, the determination to keep pushing through every single day and push yourself farther than you thought you ever could. So yes, obviously the knowledge is very, very important, but it's that dedication that really gets you through it.
Terrific. And staying with you, Sarah, can you tell everyone a little bit about why you enrolled in the OYAP program?
Personally, I did not enroll in the OEP program. I just did the auto and construction courses, which kind of gave me enough experience. So I didn't need to do the OEP program. But I find taking those tech courses in high school is really, really beneficial for anybody, even if it's not something that you think you want to go into. It's a good thing to experience, and it's a really good break from your classes and sitting down and, you know, taking notes all day. I find it's a good break just to get moving and use your hands.
For sure. And Mark, did you discover OEP as well, or?
Yeah, I did actually. That's what I'm doing right now. I found that it was a cool program, right? Last year I took a co-op as well, and I took a dual credit, right? And it kind of got me into the college space and understanding how that worked. And my co-op teacher, Nat, told me about this accelerated OYAP program, and I thought it was a great idea. Go to college full time alongside my co-op experience with my HVAC company, and it's really been a great experience from that. I've already learned a lot, right? Because a lot of the work I was doing prior to that program, I was understanding like the process of operation, but I didn't really understand the logic behind what I was doing, right? I'd make connections onto certain things and do my tasks, but I didn't know the reason why I was really doing that. And with the OYAP program, I was able to understand the theory aspects. Now I'm able to put 2 and 2 together between working and the logic behind it. So now I'm able to problem solve better and complete tasks easier on the job site and whatnot.
That's amazing. So can you say a little more about the OYAP program and how co-op teachers might have helped or checked in?
Yeah, so for me personally, my co-op teacher was very supportive. He told me I could either continue with my co-op and just work the whole time, or I can go with this OYAP path. And he helped me with all of the submissions into getting into the program, right? He helped me get in contact with Mr. Jon Callegher. And from there, I submitted my application, and then I completed all the process to get in. And then I did a actual interview with Mr. Jon Callegher. And from there, I got accepted into the program, and here I am now.
I love it. Here you are. You just followed the process, showed up, did the interview, did all the right things, but really showed up and stuck with the process. And here you are now talking to so many people in your community, which is really impressive. I'll start with Sarah on this next question around myths. What are some things maybe that you could say, Sarah, people get wrong about the skilled trades, and maybe you could correct the record?
A big one is that the skilled trades are only for men. Obviously, they definitely are not. We all can do anything we put our minds to. It doesn't matter, man or woman. Like for me, it's sometimes a bit difficult to do certain tasks because I am 100 pounds and 4'11". But there are so many tools and different ways to get around those in order to do your job effectively. So yeah, anybody can do whatever they want to do. It doesn't matter, man or woman.
Excellent. Excellent. And how about you, Mark? What are some myths that you might have discovered about the skilled trades that you'd like to correct?
A lot of people like to think that there's no actual thought process involved with it, right? Like you don't actually have to think too much. It's a brainless job. And a lot of the issues that you'll get into with the trades is that there'll be some complicated issues with systems, and you actually have to really put your head at work to figure out how to find a solution to these problems. And a lot of people think that that's not involved in the trades. It's just simple work that you just get dirty, and there's no logic really behind it, but that's not true whatsoever.
That's right. It's very it can be very technical. You have to do a lot of problem solving, thinking, and as a result, you get that satisfaction too of figuring something out. Maybe getting your hands dirty, but it washes off, right? So, terrific. How about Sarah? What's it like? Say a little bit more about being a woman in a traditionally male-dominated field. Have you had to, are you having challenges, or have you overcome some challenges? What would be your advice for young women?
I would say it can be quite challenging. You're going to have a lot of people tell you that you can't do it, or it's not something that you want to do, and try and kind of talk you out of it, which is, something that you just kind of have to let it go over your head. I mean, you need to stick to what you want to do and what makes you happy. Obviously, there are some rude comments that you get from strangers. But at the end of the day, none of that matters. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about your career, because, it's your life. You're the one living it. It doesn't matter what other people's opinions are. So, I mean, if you can just get past some of the comments, that's it.
For sure. And I think for any parents watching, we should be looking at people like Sarah as those who are kicking down doors and breaking down barriers for future young women. But at the same time, when you are, fully ticketed and you meet someone and you have an apprentice who's a male and they're under you, it'll still happen. Someone will think that guy's your boss and you're under under him. I hear that story a lot, but it will take time, right, for those situations to change. And it starts with you and building that foundation for future generations of young women. So just two more questions and then we'll come to the audience. As you continue your skills, Mark, what future opportunities are available to you, beyond or in addition to flipping houses?
So I can choose to either go the non-union route or the union route. So the non-union route, it's very hour demanding, right? You might not have as much of a scheduled kind of for example, for my company, right? Some days I'd work 10 hours, some days I'd work 6, right? It was kind of all over the place. However, that's a little different depending on the company you go with. However, I do know for the unions, it's very consistent with the hours. So from there, I can get my seal in the trade. I can become a journeyman, whatnot. And then in the future, if I find myself wanting to, I can even start my own company with HVAC and then eventually build up my own crew and start running jobs myself.
Excellent. You hear that, parents? And Sarah, how about you? What opportunities lie ahead for you as you look to the future?
I think there's quite a few opportunities. I mean, with any trade you get into, you're still building those fine motor skills. And so if you have one trade, a lot of it carries on throughout other trades that you can always try out in the future. For me, I am with a unionized company. I'm with Bell Canada. So it gives me the opportunity to be able to climb up and potentially have a management position. Or another thing that I've been interested in is becoming a teacher in automotive, which could be really, really fun. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that it could take me.
Teacher or college professor? Absolutely. What advice, I'll stay with you, Sarah. What's your advice for students who are interested in the skilled trades, but maybe, their parents aren't as supportive or still need a little bit more words of encouragement to get them to support their kids? What's your advice for kids?
Listen to what your heart tells you to do. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about your job. If you're happy doing it, you're the one doing it for 8+ hours every single day. That's all that matters, is if you like it. So, at the end of the day, when you become a successful tradesman and, you can have the opportunity to make a lot of money, your parents will be proud of you no matter what at the end of the day.
Right on. And Matt, I'll give you the last word there before we go to questions. What's your advice for students?
Yeah, so for me, in my opinion, I'd say all parents, like you mentioned in the slides previously, I believe that all parents truly want what's best for their child, right? And that's completely understandable, right? The thing is, people have certain mentalities that there's only certain ways of doing things, right? However, some people, if they're given the knowledge, they can understand that this is also a great path for parents. So if you really are passionate about something and you show interest, right, do some research, right? Tell your parents what you want to do. And if you can prove to them that there is logic behind what you're doing and it's going to make you happy, they'll support you 100%.
Terrific advice. And I'll add, rewatch this YouTube video and see this conversation and hear these two young people, parents, and how intelligent and bright they are and how happy they are in their careers, and know that they're shining examples of the future for your children if you wanted that for them. So, and to support them. So that's great advice. I'm just looking now at another side of my screen here to see if some questions are coming in. And I'll maybe get a cue from Nat there.
Yeah, so actually, Linda and I might rejoin the stream that way in case there's questions for us as well. John, if you're okay with it, I'll pop the questions up on the screen. So just a reminder of everyone that there is a link that was sent out. There's a link on the YouTube channel for asking questions. And then, John, if you don't mind reading the questions and directing them to who you think might be able to answer them best, I'll just pop them up on the screen and keep monitoring for more questions.
Right on. Let's do it. Matt, or Mark, I keep saying Matt. Sorry. Mark, Sarah, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, this might be for what are the steps to starting an apprenticeship without co-op at the end of grade 12? So we'll hand that one to Nat or Linda.
Linda, are you okay to take that one? So I think the question is just, maybe to restate it, is how would you start an apprenticeship after high school if you didn't participate in OEAP through a co-op placement? So I guess the question is, where do you start, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I was muted before started talking with my mic off. So basically, yeah, it is a little more challenging. I won't lie. You need to have connections, whether it's directly with someone that you know that works in a particular trade, or you need to work with an organization to help you get that next step. For example, you guys might want to take this down, or I don't know if you can put this in as a banner, Nat, but Support Ontario Youth. It would be one good connection. They are a nonprofit organization funded by the federal government, and they do all kinds of boot camps, skills training, and support to get students started, young people to get started in the skilled trades. So if you are a grade 12 student and you did not participate in OEAP, and the good thing about OEAP is your teacher helps you make those connections and helps you get that placement with a skilled trade organization or person or company. But if you're in grade 12, you need to look at employment offices. But a really good one that I would promote is Support Ontario Youth. They were at our latest Fast Track conference and spoke to our students there. Maybe some of you were there, I'm not sure. But they are an excellent organization. They will provide all kinds of supports for you, get you started, even with some skills, basic skills training, and even some financial supports. So definitely look at Support Ontario Youth or any of your local employment offices, because they do deal with tradespeople as well and working, and they might have some funds or supports to get, and more now the government is pouring money into that. So getting people interested in the trades and working in the trades. So local employment offices, they're all over the place. Take a look at them, Google your local employment office and give them a call. That's if you don't have any connections. Something else you can try, and this is, there are pre-apprenticeship courses in colleges. Those programs are primarily for students who maybe are not sure what they want to do or haven't taken any tech courses in high school. And they're not going to lead to an apprenticeship, but they're going to give you some foundation in terms of skills and aptitude and see if you like it. But you still will have to enter an apprenticeship after you've completed that. And sometimes that also, if you've come very green, that might provide you with some, some street cred and did I say that right? I'm not even sure. And be able to sell your skills and say, I've done this course. Will you take me on to an employer? Okay. So really the first thing is finding an employer, working with them, and then having them agree to sponsor you and sign a registered training agreement, where then you are then in the MLTSD database and then can pursue your apprenticeship training and do your theory class, your theory, and so on. So first step is the hardest step, is making that connection.
Can I add a little bit to that if you don't mind?
Please.
My brother, for example, he did like what you were talking. He took a 1-year course at Humber College for electrical. And then afterwards, what he ended up doing is he went through the intake process, right? A lot of the trades out there, if you look at their union online, there's an intake process that happens a few times a year, maybe 2-3 times a year. You look at those dates and you apply, you make a resume, and you go throughout that way. And another way even is, this is one thing I was looking at as well, is like you were saying, there's a shortage of tradesmen right now. So if you actually go and search up whatever trade you want to get into, for example, for me, it's HVAC. I could search up the HVAC union online, and then there will actually be a list of companies under that union. So if I look at those unionized companies, it might take a lot of time. However, I'll call those companies down, each one off the list. And then eventually, if you say, hey, I'm young, I'm ready to learn, right? I'm educated if you took that college program as well, right? If you show that you're ambitious and you're serious about wanting to pursue this career, a lot of people really need new workers, so they'll be happy to take you on.
If I could add something else, in the trades especially, I find a lot of people are working or looking for summer help opportunities. So if over the summer you're looking for a job, there are a lot of opportunities in the trades to kind of just get your foot in the door and start doing the job. And then if you show that you're dedicated and you work hard, they might just hire you on full time.
Excellent answers. Excellent answers. All right. Is real estate a skilled trade? Nope. But there are many skilled trades, as I think you've seen with the examples that are adjacent, right, to home building, home maintenance, and so on. Anyone wants to add to that? But what are the most in-demand trades in the next 5 years? I have data that might not be York region specific. So if Nat and or Linda have an answer.
I think generally for myself, like in the research that we've been doing recently, I think a lot of it just talks in generalities about the fact that the construction industry in general is one of the top job producers in York region, and consistently in the top 5 industries in the region, both in terms of small, medium, and large size firms, and in terms of job growth, especially most recently coming out of COVID. It's just been continuing to drive the region. I don't have any specific numbers beyond that, Linda. I'm not sure if you have anything else more specific.
Definitely construction is up there, especially for York region. There are, I believe, I cannot pronounce that, Boilermakers. Yes, they are up there. Heavy duty equipment machinery operators, they're up there in terms of in demand, and anything construction related really is in demand at this time.
And I can tell you that I have heard from multiple auto service people, in the industry. Service shops have reached out to me directly looking for apprentices because they have a hard time filling those spots. So definitely that would be, from my experience, something that's in demand in York region right now.
Yeah.
So Ontario-wide automotive service technicians, boilermakers, bricklayers, carpenters, construction electricians, hairstylists, heavy-duty equipment technicians, millwrights, mobile crane operators, plumbers, refrigeration and air conditioning mechanics, sheet metal workers, and pipe fitter welders. How does one figure out what skilled trade is best for them? Sarah, Mark?
Sure. So it really depends, right? You have to kind of look at what you like, right? It's very personalized, right? So for example, for me, right, I want to learn all about the trades, right? So I did some research and I found that HVAC has a lot of information of a lot of those construction trades, and that's where I found that was good for me. But say for you, for example, right, you're interested in electricity, right? How it moves and how to wire up certain things, right? Electrical would be for you, right? You kind of have to write down what interests you and then you can kind of pinpoint what type of trades involve those interests of yours.
How about you, Sarah? Thanks, Mark.
I would agree with that 100%. I mean, another thing is just to test the waters, give it a go and see how you feel about it. I mean, typically in the trades, you do it for about a month or so. You'll know if it's for you or not.
I'll emphasize that the OYAP program is that chance to try it out. Try it, and it's perfectly fine to say, if this isn't working out for me, I'd like to try something else. It's where you're in school, you get to try things out. Was there an aptitude test required, Mark, to begin your career, Sarah, in auto service? And same question to Mark. So let's start with you, Sarah.
For me, no, there wasn't. I just kind of handed in my resume and started working. I think the aptitude test is actually proving how you work and going to your job every day, getting there on time, and putting in your best effort every day.
Right on. And Mark, aptitude test?
For me, I didn't have one, but I know my brother, for example, if you were to go through the union route, right, a lot of the unions have their own aptitude tests to get in, right? So just look online, right? See if there's any resources to help you with it. Study, right? Learn the trade a little bit more, right? During that process, you'll really truly understand if you want to learn more and actually pursue that career. So you're doing yourself a favor by studying for it if there is one. And I'm sure you'll do well if you just study well, right?
That's great advice, Mark. And I just want to add, if anyone is interested in pursuing the accelerated OYAP program when they are in grade 12 while in high school, there is an aptitude test that they do ask students to participate in for some of the programs. And they just want to know, do you have some basic math skills? Are you going to be able to do that portion of the work? So it's not very hard, but it is a general aptitude test for those types of skills.
My apologies. I actually did do that that one-page math assignment. I forgot about it. Yeah, like you said, it wasn't hard at all. It took me about 5-10 minutes. It was 1 page in length. Pretty simple, right? Just go over your math notes from whenever you took the last math class, right? And you'll be fine to head on to the trades.
Terrific. Next question is, what grade do I need to be in to participate in OYAP?
Can I answer that? So basically, you don't need a particular grade. What you need to do if you want to participate in OYAP is take a co-op course. And co-op is for any student, regardless of pathway, whether you're university bound, college bound, apprenticeship bound, wherever you think you may be at that time. There isn't a particular grade to participate in OYAP. All you need to do is have an idea of what kind of trade you want to explore, bring that to your co-op teacher, and they will help you. And through the co-op, while you're in co-op and working in a skilled trade, you are automatically an OYAP student. So to be an OYAP student, you first have to be enrolled in co-op, and your placement is in a trade-related placement, and then you are automatically OYAP. So basically, there aren't grades to be an OYAP student. However, if you're also thinking about the accelerated OYAP program, they look at things like attendance. Oftentimes, they might look at grades, but it's not as relevant to them. They interview you and they do an aptitude test, and really that's what's key about getting into the accelerated OYAP program. And they'll talk to you about your prior experience and what gave you the idea to pursue a particular trade, what sparked that interest. That's what they want to know. They want to know who you are, why you want to do it, is there a real interest? And even if you haven't done co-op or OYAP, yes, it is beneficial. They do like to see that. But even if you haven't, if you've done some stuff on the side with, like I mentioned earlier, and worked with parents or community members, and used your skill, and it doesn't have to be directly related to the trade you're interested in, they want to hear that. They want to know that you enjoy working, you have a great work ethic, you like to work with your hands, and things like that.
Thank you, Linda. And how do you join the electrical union?
I think that Mark kind of already discussed, joining unions, and this question's come up a few times in the Q&A.
I can recover it if you like. Or
Mark, you're our specialist tonight. Yeah.
I try. So for the electrical union, right? You can either go off, if you do the accelerated OEP, that'll definitely help you to get into the union, right? However, if you didn't complete that program, all you have to do, I think it's the local 787, if I'm not mistaken, search it up for yourself, right? That's the electrical union. When you search that up, there'll be like a lot of things about what they're about. And then on one of those subheaders on the top, it'll say contact us. So you can contact them. And like I mentioned before, they have those hiring periods, right, where they're interviewing lots of new people, right? And you go through the steps, and then eventually, if you make it through, right, they'll give you a few job options, and then you can choose which one you'd like, and then you get into the union like that for electrical.
Yeah, and Mark's absolutely right. Like with all of the trade unions, they have lots of information. They have contact people. They have certain intake periods. I believe the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, they have 2 intake periods a year. It is fluid. There are not a large number of spots, but if you've been listening to the news in the last few months, there was close to $100 million was allocated towards training opportunities within the Ontario electrical training program. So there are opportunities out there, and you've just got to do some digging and make some phone calls and work for it. Mark?
I forgot to mention one other way. There's also a way with the sponsorship, right? So you can skip the actual intake process, which can be very tedious, right, with having to complete a resume and everything, with the method that I was talking about before, by going through the list of the actual companies in that union and just giving them calls, telling them you're interested, right? And if you do have any experience underneath your belt, right, tell them about that, because that's music to their ears. That's what they want, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right on. Do non-unionized employers offer health benefits?
It depends on the company, right? A lot of the times you will have to pay into it, though. I know for my company, for example, that I was working for, right, they did have health benefits if you talk to them about it. However, it is something you have to pay into. It really just depends on the company, right? Because there's a huge variety of non-union companies from big to small, right? It depends on where you get situated.
I'm starting to feel glad Sarah said she wants to be a teacher and not Mark. I'd be worried he's gunning for our jobs here, Linda. He's doing an awesome job of answering all these questions. And I would go one step further and say, like, there are a lot of different employers, and they're all going to be very different. So I think that you will have some employers that are maybe trying to avoid joining the union for whatever kind of personal preference, and they may actually offer benefits and other incentives to keep their employees happy without feeling like they need to join any particular trade union. So I think every employer is going to be very, very different, but that's amazing insight, Mark. Next question here.
What are some examples of trades in the service industry other than chefs? Well, I showed a few there: a horticultural technician, pastry chef, baker, hairstylist. But Nat or Linda, I know you can name more.
Okay, you named the most obvious ones. that always come to
The
mind.
child development practitioners.
Yes. Nat, help me out here.
Oh, you guys got all the good ones. There is a list of 140
There are.
plus trades, and what I'll do is I'll link it on YouTube for everyone to take a look. But the service sector, I believe, may be the second shortest of those lists, but I think we've covered quite a few of the big ones there. I'll dig up that link now, maybe while we're answering the next question, and I'll pop it into the.
It is a shorter list. If I'm not mistaken, arborist, I think, is in that list. I think would arborist be in the services as well?
And maybe the hardware technician, IT hardware technician. There's some of those.
Even early childhood educator is considered a skilled trade.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Child
In the
now
services.
referred to as child development practitioner. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Linda, maybe we can address this one again. I think maybe the last question was more so about what grade students need to be in to participate in OEAP. Like if a grade 9 would be eligible, if a grade 12 has kind of missed their chance. So if you can take this question, I'll just keep looking for more here.
Yes. So traditionally, co-op begins in grade 11 for students. And as long as you are in a co-op, you can participate in your OEAP as long as your placement, the job you want to work at, is in a skilled trade. Okay. Is it a cook? Is it an auto service tech? Are you working as an auto service technician, a hairstylist? There are so many. As long as you're working in that trade, then you are an OEAP student. So you can do OEAP in grade 11 through co-op, and you can do OEAP in grade 12 through co-op. And if you're doing summer school between grade 10 and 11, and you're doing a summer school, at least in our board, we offer some placements that are in the skilled trades. You can be an OEAP student there. The only thing that I need to remind everybody is that even though you can be 15 years old and be an OEAP student, labor law supersedes that. And if you can't be on a work site because of your age, then you can't be at that placement. For example, if you're hoping at the summer of grade 10 to work on a construction site and you're only 15, that isn't going to happen. You're going to have to be 16. So you can be an OEAP student as young as 15, as long as the trade that you are wishing to explore allows you to do that, and we meet labor laws, right? Restrictions, age restrictions on work sites. So yes, grade 11 or 12, you can be an OEAP student, and even summer of grade 10, if possible.
Fantastic. There's only a few more questions. A lot of the questions are kind of similar in nature, and I'm trying to group them, but this is one that's come up quite a few times.
It's great that there are so many questions. How do you find a company that will take you on as an apprentice? Who can help with this? Sarah.
I'd say connections are a really, really, really big thing. Honestly, asking around with your family, with friends, there are a lot of opportunities in the trade. So just asking around and finding those connections and getting somebody to put a good word in for you is probably your biggest one.
Right. And like I had mentioned before, your local employment offices, Support Ontario Youth, all those organizations are there to help you. But like she mentioned, your best bet is connections. If you have them, that's the easiest.
I'll throw something out too, and Mark sort of suggested earlier, just making calls, knocking on doors. Everybody, skilled trades companies in the skilled trades, they are busy and they don't have a lot of time. Some don't even have an HR, or they don't have time to devote fully to a full-time HR person to find people. If you know, put in the work, you might be pleasantly surprised that they might be looking someone or just waiting for someone to call. Mark?
Mm-hmm. You can even go on those online recruiting websites as well, like such as Indeed or whatnot. I don't know the names of the other ones, right? My old company that I was just working for, they just hired a guy who just graduated college, right? I'm pretty sure he just called around, sent out his resume to a bunch of HVAC companies. I know my boss in particular, and even on my brother's job site, a lot of these guys and companies are looking to hire new people, but like you said, there's a shortage of workers. So if you show that you're ambitious and you truly want to work for these companies, they'll be more than happy to take you on.
So we had put it up before. Access Employment is a local Employment Ontario office, one of 11 offices in York Region that are supported by Employment Ontario. I did want to just mention that on June the 9th, we are having a session for OEP students in York Catholic, and Support Ontario Youth will be there. Access Employment will be there. And one thing that maybe we haven't mentioned as far as helping with the process is the Ministry of Labor Training and Skills Development, just in terms of understanding how to move forward in an apprenticeship. So you may have started your apprenticeship and you're maybe switching employers. They're your contact. The nice thing about participating in OEP is you start that connection in high school. So while you're in high school, you have the safety net of a co-op teacher, a guidance counselor, other adults that are in the building that can support you. But if you've been a part of OEP and you've started your training, you have a client number with the Ministry of Labor, and you have a training consultant that can help you along with your next steps. They maybe can't find you a job, but they can direct you to the supports in your region. So that's a real huge benefit to participating in OEP. Maybe a question for you, John, if you've done some research. And I mean, in general, I know that the question is, do you believe there will be an increase in demand for trade workers? I think we're already there, right, John?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, we're already there. I've been saying sources are different. Oh, someone's having a party in the background there. We have different sources of information, but it's fair to say that 1 in 5 jobs will be in the skilled trades in the next 5-10 years. I used to say tens of the thousands of workers there's a need in Ontario, but I recently heard that more than 100,000. So we're past the tens of thousands. It's very exciting. The next generation. I'm really excited for Sarah, the next generation of vehicles, right? That workforce is retiring, and you're going to need the younger people to have that expertise. Look around you, parents. The construction that's happening everywhere. Okay, the road construction, right? The infrastructure, the stadiums, all of that. It's not just the digging, right? It's what's inside, outside, on top, the wiring, the plumbing, so much opportunity in the future, and great job security. As far as I know, you still can't hammer a nail over the internet, right? You got to be there in person and get the job done.
That's fantastic. And we, I believe that's all the questions we have. The only other question that came up a lot is in terms of if this session will be available after tonight, and it will be available. We're going to have it on our YouTube channel, and York Region will get a link to send out to those that were registered. So definitely tune in if you missed anything. We were so lucky that we were able to be joined by Mark and Sarah today, and I do want to congratulate them both on their choice and their career and the success that they've had. And they're both amazing speakers too. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And
thank you for helping us out and bringing us here. Right, we're just paying back the favor. You guys helped us a lot with our situations, especially with getting into the co-ops and the OEAPs and whatnot. Right, just paying back what you guys have done for us.
Yeah, and I can tell you that Mark was saying earlier about his experience so far, and I went to visit him at George Brown. And apologies, John, I said Humber in my email accidentally. That's on me. But I went to visit Mark at George Brown, and he said the exact same thing. Like the classes are giving him the theory behind the hard work he'd been doing for years. But it's just kind of like doing it versus understanding it and learning it and all that process. And as Sarah mentioned, she wasn't a participant in OEAP in high school, but it was those tech courses, like John mentioned right at the end of his presentation, some different options for how to get your foot in the door of the skilled trades, taking those tech courses, being involved in, did you take auto all 4 years, Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah, taking auto all 4 years, right from grade 9, and loving the experience and kind of continuing with that, and then circling back a few years after graduating into that area that clearly you're passionate about. So I want to thank Dr. Callegher for being here, and I want to thank Linda for her time tonight and her expertise. And I want to wish everyone a great night.
Thank you.
I'm going to pause it.
Thank
I'm going
you.
to stop right now, and it's going to take just a second to stop recording. And thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
joining us.
Take care.
Bye.